line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up. Finger to the sky and a green light shining bright. The only thing I have in mind is the finish line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up.
They are not a league without big drivers to their name. The only thing that they don't have a name is in their actual name. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Beat Them Racing TV and welcome the No Name Racing League as they will look to complete their season out and their series out here on the show. It's time to get the tracks going here and get some 4 races into the books. 4 weeks left to go in this series, and the Next Gen Cup cars are here to come out and play. Hi everyone, I am the Crusader Christian Sharp joining you guys here today as we are now looking on for the first time here with drivers and names you've known alike, just under a different banner, a different roof. It's time to see who's all going to play it out here and who's going to be the ones to take full aim and charge. So we get started up for today's action. Start him on the pole. Johnny Barker is your number 1 qualifier in the 6th outside. It's Al Reed in 3. Row number 2 is Rob Lowell. The 21 is outside. Jeff Barefoot, the 99. Row number 3, Wayne Dewey in the 11 is outside. John Lomaga, the 71. Row number 4 is David Lomaga. The 34 is outside. The 4, John Humphrey. Row 5 is Greg Drace as he pilots it up in the 64 is outside. Gary Wright will be piloting it in the 90. Row number 6 is Mike Killenbeck in the 70 is outside. Eli Raposa in the 46. Row number 7 is going to be Gene Cato in the 8 is outside. The 7, Kevin Duran. Final starters in this one. Row 8, Marty Brown. The 41 is outside. 61, Keith Fonseca. Locked and loaded field. Drivers ready to go. The No Name Racing League is the idol of this one. It's the idol of these drivers. And they're about to bring it all out on the line. Bring it all out down on the track here. 85 laps to the distance here at Talladega County, Talladega, Alabama. This is definitely going to be a tough on-road kind of racetrack. This is going to be more or less based on the speed and control and consistency that it brings to the table. We saw what happened when you get down on these tracks like the Daytonas and Talladegas with these next-gen Cup cars. They can definitely put a little bit of speed under. They can get a lot of runoff, but downside is they're very, very tricky when it comes to that long rumored stretch of the race. Not the unknown of the unknown, as we like to put it. And again, we mentioned before here, but they have seen a lot of these drivers before. You may have known some of the names here, of course. They are always out to put on a little bit of show and put on a little bit of a battle down here and see what maybe they can bring to the table. And they're doing it once again here on PTS TV. As they got folks from America, Ireland, and Canada represented in this race here. Wayne Dewey, the only one from Canada's region, and Al Reed, the only Irishman out on the track. It's going to be an interesting tale of the tape, tale of the run. What I can tell you is that there's still a points battle going on down here between these drivers, so don't think for 1 second that this isn't just another day's worth of racing. Brad Youngman and David Lamaga right now are hot on the clutches and the footing here of a championship battle here, but separate only about by 12 points. While looking outside, looking in Al Reed, looking to try and score and steal. That went away with the 354. The rest of the Chargers, the rest of the drivers, certainly will have their hands full trying to figure out the rest. As we get ready for tonight's action, today's action starting up. We've got 2 broadcasts at least set for you guys, and this is the first one. Here we go. Green flag is on out. 85 laps to the distance. They will march the charge. We're off and running. What you're going to see really out of the gate as well, a lot of drivers getting pretty aggressive here out of the start, getting kind of harder on the charge here, really looking for momentum when they can. You'll see some drivers maybe try to make it a little bit crazier and try to find runs where they probably shouldn't, and really try to use that side draft as their saving grace. But for the most part, this is kind of what you'll end up seeing a little bit, is some folks just getting a little bit hesitant or a little too much full of themselves, and unfortunately driving it right where they feel like they could when they couldn't. And the 71, John Lamaga, got cripped up there a little bit on the outside because the 4, John Humphrey, ended up getting collided up there with Jeff Barefoot and Al Reed. Jarvis trying to find a run either on the top or the bottom side, looking for the run early. We're supposed to have a triple race season here today, as we were planning originally to get broadcasted up the race down here, of course, Talladega for the No Name Racing League, but also for Pedal to Metal Racing League later on tonight, which will be the main event. And then earlier it was actually supposed to be the Citadel Rallycross Racing, but at the moment we are still under warranty for that one. We're still waiting for the results and everyone to bring out their trucks and their vehicles to bring out the best of the buggies in them. So we'll be waiting on that for a little while, but hopefully in due time we'll see them there. Kevin Durant, number 7 right now, getting a little bit of a runway off on that front straightaway here, moving some serious speed and a half here as he looks to try to gain some ground, gain some clearance here. Nearly 4 wide, slowing them right off of turn number 2, though. The 4 John Humphrey and that 70 of Mike Gillenbeck. Man, they certainly did not leave anything up for grabs there. They wanted all the run and all the charge to get going, and that speed boost in that draft line. And this is just something, again, you really see a lot of at plate tracks these days when it comes to these cars, these setups, these for the Gen 5s, Gen 6s, Gen 7s, it doesn't matter. You don't really spread out, you don't really space out unless you're doing pack racing. You're more or less just keeping everybody as close and comforting as possible. And now they've even thrown it on the 1.5 miles like Atlanta Motor Speedway, which, believe me, I'm still very on that one. I have very big disagreements with that track, but then again, that's just me. So sorry, but not sorry. John LaMonga here after that little hiccup he suffered earlier on. Seems to be okay now. How much of the damage has been done up on that 71, knowing that he's got a hungry set of drivers trying to bolster the runs and bolster the momentum, looking for charging when they can. Whoa, slow down here, big slow down, because we got a big wreck coming on turn 3, huge wreck and falls. Gosh flag is out here, and unfortunately it looked like somebody was pushing maybe a little bit too hard or even for their own good. Take a look at the PT Mr. replay and see what happened here exactly once again as we take a look from another angle. Looks like the Ford John Humphrey gave a big push and got a huge push from the rear end of that one. And Eli Raposa ends up getting kind of the boot can, if you will, on that. One more look at it from another replay here, and we'll take one more look from another camera shot here. This is our chopper cam. This gives you guys just a good idea of how hard that push was on him. That 90, I'm not really sure if the 90 just slowed up really bad or what happened there, but it looked like he just kind of came to a dead stop. It got a push and then just kind of stopped dead in its tracks. I'm not really sure if he tested some brakes down there or if he just had a brake check in there and didn't even realize it, but that was a costly error. That ended up taking a lot of drivers with it. Stunning development here on Pizza Race TV. Well, let's see how bad that comes back to haunt him a little later on here as the field gets kind of squared up away again. Try to see if maybe they can get something going in this case. Pit stops are definitely going to be a big key factor. They're going to be a big selling point for these drivers today. So as the drivers get squared away here now, we'll go ahead and double file them back up on this restart zone. Right now, your race leader here and the third in the championship points hunt. Right now, Al Reed, the number 3, looking to try to get something going for his Digital Motorsports crew in the Ford Mustang machine. He's had a pretty good season from other leagues and other battles out there, and he's looking to try to continue that hot streak on here today. drivers looking to garner some attention, garner some speed out here, and maybe hit the runs up once again. Looking to just stay focused and settle off on the track. It's definitely going to be a lot of hard race in some of these ends and some of these corners you saw a minute ago here. The bumping and banging, pushing and shoving, what it'll do for you around here. The quest to find ourselves one of our last 4 winners of this season, trying to find any kind of runs and positions comes into play here. And of course Talladega, Daytona, pretty much in my opinion, no matter what car you bring out there, no matter what car you throw on there, it is the absolute most equalizer track states in the entire racing world. No matter what you say about it on the ovals aspect, even if you're driving the 87s, to me still you can end up finding a way to really straight horn and shoelace that thing in for a win just by simply being in the packs. All you have to do is really just get a good qualifying position and good knowledge and awareness on these tracks, and that is all you really need. And that's exactly with this next gen, the 555. That's at the 550 horsepower package underneath them. They're going to be using with. They're relying on substances and control of the push, the shoves, the runs, the bumps, and the tweaks in between to stay focused and stay garnered up to the track and onto the runs. Off of turn number 4, they brought him down that front straightaway past the tri-oval section into the restart zone, just right above him up ahead. Flagman has the high flag in the air. He wants to fly high, run them down. He'll fly it, and we're running again. Here we go. Green flag back on now. 8 of 85. Right now, we're 1/10, almost one of the way there. You probably say it's about 1/10 now here as they reel them off onto the back straightaway here. Off a half corner, half pace. Wayne doing the number 11 here, looking to get some kind of momentum, some kind of runoff here to try to take on some of the boys down the bottom end here. David Lamaga here, the reigning defending champion of a few leagues out there, looking to try and do the same here in this league. This may be a league with no name, but that don't mean that he does not know how to come out and play. Driving his Pray for Ukraine, number 34, looking to raise awareness for him and his family there. That scheme definitely raises a lot of awareness and raises a lot of hope and prayers. And again, our thoughts and prayers and condolences to all those that have been affected down in Ukraine for everything that's going on down there. Nothing but the most love to everybody involved in the innocent world down there. Jeff Barefoot here in the 99 here. First time we've seen him really garner so much run, so much pushing and shoving here out of the gate. And he's already doing a handful on some of these guys. Gets a little tap on Johnny Barker there, the number 6 here. Barker took quite the hit and quite the little run here with that Toyota Camry rear end. But that front end nosedive of that Ford actually does kind of help push a little bit better off than the Chevys or the Toyotas will, because the way the car is designed is basically more square bodied than anything, so it actually gives really anybody that's behind a Ford more of an advantage. I don't know how a Ford on Ford would really make for these kind of bumps, these kind of runs, because again, they're a little bit, to me, they're just a slight bit more on the rear end side of things. They're actually a little bit more kind of stretched out, if you will, than I would say some of the other cars would, like a Chevy or even the Camrys. I'd say a Ford and a Camry combo would probably be your best bet when it comes to getting the most speed and getting the most run here on this track. Feel maybe looking to get a little bit more comfortable, maybe not so tensed up, maybe not so much out of position and out of place here. I think a lot of these guys are trying to circumvent another big one here, but at the same time they don't want to keep laying low and not really performing on their own to a task, really staying what they need to do here. As you see, even David Lamaga looks like he's getting kind of tired of waiting it out on the bottom. He wants to go high side, make a run for it. But seemingly nobody follows the former champion here. He's He's won before here on this championship series. He's also won before on our PTM Racing TV shows. Quite a bit, actually, to say the least. One guy that hasn't done it, though, yeah, really, it's a name I feel like should have been in that hunt in a little while, which is a 64, Greg Drace. Greg Drake's not exactly a guy who can kind of just push over and really push to shove. When it comes to pushing to shoving, he can definitely do it too here, and he's been a little bit more clever about when the time comes and when he has to, rather than when he feels like it or when he wants to. He knows more than anything how the rules, the regulations, the law of racing attribute down here at iRacing. Marching down on the front here, Johnny Barker, your race leader here right now with Jeff Barefoot, Rob Lowell, and Greg Drace, Gary Wright right now holding up the top 5 in the 90. Kind of surprising of Gary Wright here to actually be moving up as far in the chains here and doing as well as he is right now. Looks like if he can keep this going here a little bit, keep the speeds up, maybe he might have a chance. A little bit of a problem down there though for that 21. Rob Lowell having some problems down there coming off that push and that shove. Couldn't quite keep the momentum alive or keep it in playing field. Coming down on a turn number 2 here. Still hard on the momentum and a lot of power on these guys' hoods. I don't think there's anything that needs to be said there, but again, with restricted to only that 550 horsepower package, really kind of exemplifies and really testifies everything you know as a driver and how to really run a track down. This track and Daytona certainly fix things up quite a bit differently. Dimes coming right along here at the moment here. Field's still pacing their way around the track, still giving themselves plenty of room to drive it down. Yeah, Johnny Barker looks like he might be trying to get a little more runoff here with that 99 Jeff Barefoot right behind him. Al Reed regaining the race lead here for a brief fleeting moment on the outside. And you can see there's 2 different lines being thrown right now, bottom and top. Which one's the right one? Which one's the wrong one? Hard to really say, and really I don't think there's any wrong or right one here. It's just really just depends on who holds out the line the most and who holds the most speed. Coming from each corner, coming from each entry angle, man. That's the toughest part about doing these races. The toughest part about trying to even perform in these kind of racetracks, these kind of moments. Not knowing when something could go right, something could go wrong, and then next thing you know, you're scratching your head just thinking, man, what the heck did I do? Like, what is it that I could have done to help save myself or save this car or save this vehicle? What, could have been done? Board camera here with that 70 Kevin Durant right now. Al Reed still moving and changed up here. Got a lot of help there from his teammate David Lamaga as well as John Lamaga. Remember, both drivers are equally defined as teammates, and both have expressed their values and their worth around on any tracks so they can really get some speed going with. It's pretty impressive when you think about it, is how difficult some of these angles, some of these runs, and some of these just all-around positions have made it to really get the better of the other. run starting to slow up a little bit. Seems like a lot of guys not being as aggressive anymore. Really, at this point, I think they're just kind of tempoing themselves, trying to stay in an even rhythmic line, while at the same time just trying to keep momentum away from some other drivers like, say, David Lamont or John Lamont, but without reading them, already kind of got them beat out on that one. The teammates using everything to their advantage here and knowing what lies up front, using it all within stride and all in the legal reins. John Humphrey here, the number 4 here, currently starting to stay in rhythm and touch here. You see him losing a little bit of that speed, a little bit of that gap though. He worked so hard to get up to and gonna get around with later on, but now trying to find a little bit more run as he saw the Jolt 90 of Gary Wright just sneak right on past him and power base that thing through. And just like that too, that little boost of speed, that little boost of run actually helped the 4 John Humphrey kind of get the bubble back here of that draft package, that draft zone. When you ever hear us as drivers say he caught the bubble or he got it right into that bubble line, it's basically us talking about getting as close as you can to the air suctioning in through the air vents, the decks, the windows, nets, and everything, to help kind of perform this little extra kick of speed, this extra kick of gravity, if you will, that you can't really explain unless you're truly on the track and truly are experiencing it right there and then. It's a feeling you just cannot really truly define. Really, I think it makes it for a really good showcase here when you can get it going. Right up on pace, right on cue. Now you see a little bit of speed up on the outside line for Johnny Barker, Kevin Durant, Kevin Barefoot, as well as Rob Lowell, as the 77 continues to keep his momentum in play, keep his momentum on the charge end here. Still got about 20 laps remaining before we head up to that stage, that halfway point. And the halfway point, really, to me, is where things could get very, very tricky or a little bit more clever to have to be used here. I think the toughest part right now is just trying to find that momentum, trying to find that momentum and that power that you can really use for the long term. Because again, really, with this track and this car, you got to use that draft line, you got to use that draft position to help even stay even in somewhat into that. It does force drivers, though, to really have to make some really big move changes, some really big obstacles ahead of them. Which, in my regard, I really like the idea that you have literally an invisible obstacle in that airflow, and the aerodynamics of a car. You have the overwhelming presence of going full throttle at a track that's 2.5 plus miles in length, 2.66 to be exact, and then also the other feeling of possibly getting rammed off the track and being rammed into your own place. That to me is just kind of a showmanship of what can bring to the table when you can really run on this surface. Kevin Durant right now, the number 7, trying to keep up pace, trying to keep his momentum on charge. I think a lot of guys are starting to get a little bit impatient here, looking to maybe make some last-minute ditch efforts. But again, once you get kind of that halfway mark, then it's like, well, we're just going to start letting these guys go a little bit looser and go a little crazier, because other than the actual race itself, not a whole lot to really look forward to or really understand, because really we don't even know too much about these guys. They're no name racing. They're no name racing league. We do know we've seen a lot of these drivers here that have come on the show plenty of times and really put up speed and momentum, but other than that, really, there's a couple of new faces here, and there's really just a who's who of drivers that can come out here and play with the best of them. And they want to play with the best of them because they have to in their minds. To be the man, you got to beat the man, as Ric Flair would always once say. And that's exactly true for this team and for this league here that they've got going on. As Jeff Barefoot, and hey, you know, you see, gets a little bit of a push and a shove there. The G-Stone Motors, number 21 there. Rob Logan, a nice little push, nice little shove off here, as it continues to fire it on down and fire this thing on by quicker than they know it. Coming around off turn number 1 now. Look at this, number 6 Johnny Barker getting a little help there from the 99 Jeff Barefoot. Pretty good push, I'll say. Trying to lead him up the charge, up the rankings here. Chopper cam underway and up top here. Whatever he had under that hood did not quite last very long. Al Reed, David Lamaga, John Lamaga, once again, just when push comes to shove, I think these guys have got to kind of dial it in right about now here. It's going to be tough to pass them. They're going to have to push extremely hard to get ahead of their momentum, get ahead of their run, because they know they are not going to get it from simply standing by and looking pretty here. That is for certain. See that onboard camera here, Greg Drace, just how focused and determined. He's got to keep that thing on the ragged edge and the rear end of that. Knows he can't get too over the line, too off top on the positions. Has to really stay in that pre-maiden zone, kind of stay in that runoff zone. Momentum maybe starting to sway a little bit. Eli Raposa looking to maybe get a little bit of charge. You can see him really bolstering up something down there. He's got a big run coming up on that 46. Keeping it steady as she goes, keeping a dead focus on the eye line, trying to see him. Maybe he can find something here. Right around now, looks like we got a little bit of a charge coming up from John Lamaga. The 71, remember earlier on though, he found himself on the receiving end of a bit of a big wreck there, unfortunately, between him and Eli Raposa and the 4 John Humphrey, as that number 11 Wayne Dewey gave a little kick in the butt, if you will, to both drivers involved, as well as everyone around that edge and down that circuit. nobody gave out, nobody gave in, but unfortunately that also made things a little bit more difficult to have to kind of work around, have to fight it with. And pit stop now going to be engaged here onto that front straightaway here. Finally at last here, halfway point nearly reached, but driver starting eclipsing him down on the bottom end into the apron zone. Everyone going to get him into pit road. Rob Lowell, Johnny Barker, Jeff Barefoot, Greg Drace, Kevin Duran, Mike Killingbeck, as well as Gene Cato, they all stay on out. So Al Reed, though, fires up the motors, fired up the speeds, and he's already moving this thing out on another charge and another race run. Reed and all of them finally getting back out there. Rob Lowe, though, is leading a pack of other hungry drivers here that kind of got squared back in the pack here. Maybe in his mind was trying to really regroup and recenter off, maybe give him some breathing room. I mean, not a bad idea by any means, but at the same time, was it necessarily the smartest move considering what lies ahead of him? That strategy really being now thrown into effect, thrown in on the circuit. Again, will drivers get a little bit more handsy? Will they get a little bit more crazy here, knowing what lies ahead of them? Barker, Barefoot, and Greg Drace all now leading it into the fight, into the fray here. Still looking for some momentum, still looking for some runoff as they headed down from pit road into their little end zone turf, if you will. They got a lot of catching up to do, though, especially with Eli Raposa being a new race leader. We've got a new leader up front right now for the first time today. Eli Raposa taking away the race lead and possibly gonna give himself some breathing room and some time to really stretch out the legs, stretch out the momentum, and keep himself under control. Oh, as I say that here, look out for David Lamaga. Now Reed now charging him right on the outside here. Big push for the 34 by the 3. And now Reed and Lamaga once again putting Dream Team to good faith and good shame here. Counterbalance, counteracts the other, and just really makes this thing work its way on around. Simply crazy stuff, to say the least here. Simply just intensifying the racing for everybody involved, trying to find speed and momentum when they can. Single file once again, Lamaga, Reed, and all them kind of lead up the first half, while John Lamaga, Kuponseska, and all them behind, backing off maybe to set the slingshot up. Remember, if you stay back just a little bit and you strive it hard, you actually get a really strong, hard kick and a push that makes it a lot more difficult to get around and really a lot more difficult to kind of block off from the other drivers. A lot of guys being very conservative right now, not really thinking too far ahead about trying to make any big moves. It seems like a lot of them don't really want to in this case. It seems like they're more emphasized and focused on trying to take any kind of advantage they can or any kind of run if they can. And yellow flag will fly on out. Looks like this is a competition caution now being thrown out here, so that will slow everybody up a bit, slow them down a little bit on the pegs, and maybe give us some time to get a clarity in on this run. David Lamaga gets another stage point or two, gets another, or excuse me, not a stage point, but another key position here in from the stage, and really showcases he's not out to do anything less than to win this one and really perform at his top peak. He's never been a big fan, he says, of these plate races, yet here he is, in my opinion, just completely tearing up and really soaring through the halls and through the moons with a great burst of speed and great burst of control. Far enough from anything we have seen in quite some time. But will he be able to keep it? Will he be able to keep all that power, all that momentum down on the surface and on the playing field? We'll have to soon see. Well, earlier on, race fans, we talked about this one too, and we talked about the overall positioning here from every single one of these drivers. Well, David Lamaga, like I said, currently the man of the hour, the man with all the power at 375, but 363 with Brad Yonkman. Albert Reed, Al Reed, call him what you will, right now 354, just simply about 9 back of second and about 11 back of first. Still, anybody can take home a lot of points here in these next 4 races if the timing is there. John Humphrey going 338, Eli Raposa has 322 to his name. Johnny Barker with about 291. Wayne Dewey, that's driving around at about 272, 263 for Jeff Barefoot. And then 10th being Rob Lowell, and at 255. That bracket's a little bit shorter and thicker than skin, I would say. It's definitely getting closer and closer to this one. Pit stops being made once again here. Drivers are going straight in. They'll figure out what they want to do and get back with us in. Field pacing their way down around the track still. Currently, drivers are still squaring up. Kevin Durant and Al Reed and David Lamaga being your top 3 now on the start. With Kevin Durant with a very interesting paint scheme on that one. Definitely representing some of his pride and character there, to say the least. But it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. Again, drivers still needing to find the extra bonus, the extra run they can get. Points definitely mattering a bit more, and things just getting a lot more difficult to really gain and garner. We have double filed them up yet again. We are ready to get set back for the action here. Duran and Reed will be the starters. They will line them up in position. We are getting ready to go. Just got to get them down that back stretch, send them on the front, and we're going to send them off to the distance. Green's back out now. We're going to get him ready to fire him on down. Green out and about. We're off and running once more here at Talladega. I guess the producers had muted my mic for a second because we were currently doing some things over here on the studio end, making sure we were ready to go for the next set of this call. As the 601 of Keith Fonseca looked like he was ready to make some moves early here, maybe to make a little bit of a fire off, knowing what lay ahead of him. The team's definitely going to be a big factor again with this race because, again, we talked about the teammate between the 3 and that 34. Reed and Lomaga definitely needing each other and needing every ounce of help. Kind of stay true to their spots, true to their word. I hope for the best here to win this race out. Grant still holds the lead though, now Reed right behind him. Fonseca though, not giving out. Doesn't feel like giving in just yet. Doesn't feel like being the one that has to lose his position in this case. I think the way he's kind of timing these runoffs here and kind of the speeds he's garnering, it to me almost seems like that outside line might have a slight bigger push and a slight bigger draft pack on there as a 61. And Fonseca lays in with Rob Lowell here. Guys in the back kind of dumbfounded for a minute here, just trying to figure out what's going on. How are they able to do this and get that speed working to their favor? White Zipper really, science and facts and data mining. We are now just nearing the halfway end. Halfway point nearly reached as drivers still looking to find any kind of run, find any kind of momentum they can. If they want any chances here of really making themselves worth their while, worth their time, they know they cannot go and make too many big mistakes here. But again, how easy is it just to do that when you know you still got to try to keep up the distance, try to keep up the pace of these guys? I would think it'd be very difficult to do. Double filing them in now, and the field is starting to get a little bit more on the flip side of things, get a little bit crazier on the edges. Multiple lineouts, multiple drivers here, stabilize down on around here, trying to find any kind of speed they can get. Ray Drace in the 64 with a big push there on the 61 here, giving him some speed and some runoff here. Everyone down looking to try to find any kind of line, find any kind of run they can pull off to really hang in with these again. The difficulty though, these plate tracks, is trying to find that extra boost, that extra little kick here, and it looks like that 41 of Marty Brown. Well, let's just say he went sky high a little bit more than usual. He went right up to that wall protection. Bit of a hard shot, a bit of a hard hit there, unfortunately. Oh, huge wreck though right in front of us here though, right on the edge of the corners. Then we've got a problem down here in turn number 2. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What has happened here? That was a bit of a wild little kickoff there. I was not even sure what went down or what had happened until it was too little too late. We'll take a look at the replay. You can see that outside line. I think guys were starting to get a little bit more clever up there. They went right up top and get one down to the bottom. You look at Eli Raposa. It's just turn 3, I should say. I said turn 2 originally. Took a huge hit and a huge shot there. Unfortunately, did not know what got him until it was too little too late. We'll take one more onboard camera with him. Yeah, you can tell, man, he took a wild ride here coming off that end. Just can't get around that. You can't get off that. It's a scary thought, to say the least. And with only 2 fast repairs, you gotta wonder how bad it's gonna take for Eli to get that car back in from the towing section here, knowing it's gonna be a little while here before he gets back out there. You're gonna go back into pit road yet again now, and some that'll stay out will be Al Reed, David Lamaga, John Lamaga, Kevin Durant, Mike Killenbeck. As it ain't surprise there, those drivers will stay on out. After what they did in the first stage, they really are playing to their strengths and playing to their runs. We'll see if it can continue on as we continue with our showcase here of the No Name Racing League here on PTM Racing TV. Alright, so after all the carnage and destruction kind of cleaned up down there on the track, drivers are switched up and around town. They're ready to go back at it just a little bit more here. Better believe there's a lot of guys right now just dead focused and dead centered on trying to hang on to this car, trying to hang on for this run up ahead. Still quite a few laps left to go in this race here too. That definitely is not going to help the odds in their favor any. That's going to make things a lot more difficult. As they see a time and a clicking starting to play here, they need to really maintain speed and maintain grip and rhythm if they want to hold out and really hang on to this one. Al Reed, David LaMaga, they're going to be pretty much the bane of the driver's existence here, knowing they're going to have to find a way around them. Leading them off the charge once again, down off turn number 3, down into turn number 4 on that front straightaway they go. Looking for the runoff, looking for a speed. There's the green, we're out. And just like that, things right back on. The heavy pace, the heavy artillery speeds and runs they're throwing out at each other. The 61 here, Fonseca looking to try to do what he did earlier on with that high-speed outside line draft here, using number 4, John Humphrey, as a bit of a hand here with a Cobalt, number 4. A Chevy versus Chevy matchup here with both drivers trying to line these cars up so they don't over-accelerate or accentuate these things. Looking for a stable line down on the ends, down on the runs here. And it's still Al Reed and David LaMaga. No surprise there what they've been up to. The 34 I stand with Ukraine, Ford Mustang, and then the other Ford Mustang at the Digital Motorsports DM, if you will, of Al Reed right now still frantically and on the pursuit. Hasn't given the line up just yet to any driver out here. He knows though if he doesn't stay focused more dead even on this track here, it's going to make things a lot more difficult long term wise for him and the crew here to really start pushing in momentum. Punching off on the outside line now. Right now, Fonseca trying to get some help there from Rob Lowe as well as Jeff Barefoot. A great race. Every single one of these drivers right now trying to hold on to the charge, hold on for the run. Odds starting to be evened out more into their favor, more into their run zone with Jeff Barefoot right up ahead, or excuse me, right in the back. Excuse me, that was a 6 Johnny Barker. I was trying to refer to, I saw the 99 and I kind of thought Jeff Barefoot for a minute there. My bad. A lot of shuffling around, surprisingly, for these guys. I wouldn't have thought that with the run they're getting, they would shuffle these cars out quite a bit. But Barker right now backs off a little bit, tries to stay out of the way of the guys up ahead trying to fire with. Gary right now looks to be the front man and the leader here of this one. Leader on the outside, that is, but that does not mean he can't possibly be the leader of this entire race if he can get it timed in. Easier said than done though, again, considering that you still have only a select limited amount of horsepower and a select limited amount of race run. And with about 35 laps left to need to be completed, makes you kind of question here if they're actually going to be able to stick the charge or stick the run in play. I guarantee when you get a little bit later in this one, though, there's going to be a lot of heavy bumping and rubbing and racing out there. Trying to get the other straight to the line, or trying to get the other to get something going to the line. Swing bay there for Greg Drace here. Drace all over the place trying to get it squared off. Drace nearly found himself trapped in a rock and a hard place here, and he almost lost everything, but the car is completely lost, so he has lost everything, I should say. What has happened to this 64? Looked like he kind of got sheltered between a rock and a hard place here, and it looks like Lowell and Barefoot just literally just hit the barefoot of that pedal and smacked that 64 right out of place and right out of sight and out of mind, to say the least here. That'll slow him up a little bit here, but I don't think that's going to really slow him up that much. Sorry for the technical difficulty screen there, folks. No caution thrown here. Still about 30 laps remaining. And look at this now. Marty Brown, the guy that we talked a little earlier on about being a lap down or so. Quite a few laps down now, that is. But he's actually right up there helping out the race leaders here. And Keith Fonseca as well as John Lamaga. Maybe looking to give himself something to think about, really something to really appreciate here. Pacing up the field right now, some pushing, some shoving, some bumping, some banging, and now things are starting to get a little bit more ramped up. You gotta wonder though, will they go a little too far into that bump, run, corner, exits, and ends? Because again, these next gens can be a bit unstable considering they're on a little bit of a lower downforce on that spoiler. And also, at 550 horsepower package, definitely does not help very much either when it comes to this kind of game plan. These cars so unrealistically just crazy to believe, and really you would think that with the racing they brought so far to the racing season that they would have had a bit of a drought by now or some kind of slow off. Really they haven't. It's been just hectic, frantic, race and go, racing hard and racing as tough as you can, tough as nails, kind of battling. And that's the way we like it. Coming off, down off turn 4 to the front straightaway this time by will be 30 laps remaining here. Whoa, 30 laps remaining, but are we even going to be able to get there? Because Al Reed and David Lamaga had a little bit of a little push to comes to shove kind of moment there, a little tactile feel. John Lamaga, John Humphrey right now, your two race leaders, and you can see just how close they have got to stay in draft, stay in the run, or evade what goes on up top side here. The 4 got a huge push there from the 61. Fonseca is still pushing and shoving that 4 around. They need a little bit of a handover from Marty Brown, that 41, but they're not going to get it. And, oh no, 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 no. There's going to be trouble. There's going to be big trouble. Slightly down into the corner here, and John Humphrey gets way too low and smacks it right into the bottom of the 34 of Al Reed. And David LaMonga, the 34-3 of Al Reed, gets a little piece of it too, I should say. Whoa. And just like that, things can just change in a dime and on a heartbeat, and you wouldn't even know it till it's too little too late. Here's a look at the replay. Fonseca, man, he had a lot of run, but he also found himself in a really bad spot. It looks like actually he did get tagged in by the 3 of Al Reed. I said Lamaga originally. It's actually Al Reed that got him. Wasn't a whole lot of hit run though. Again, they maybe have just been me. We'll take a look at it for one more angle here just to show you guys. I don't think they actually made contact. I think actually that Ford lost control as he was trying to avoid the hit. That's close. You can see Fonseca, he drove that thing right up there trying to avoid all of them. That much we could say, and you can see everyone else. Oh boy. Well, I sure try to avoid it and get out of that mess, but once you see something like that happen, there's not a lot of ways to get out of that there and try to avoid it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the technical difficulty screen either, folks. I think it's all over the place. I think I might have broke it. There we go. I think we got it fixed now. So while the field goes back into pit road, gets squared away here, now the drivers will have to attempt to find their runs, find their speed advantages. Johnny Barker was the #1 qualifier, so he gets first dibs. And he will get that car squeaking around and fixed all by. So off pit road, John LaMonga, Al Reed, David LaMonga, Mike Gillenbeck, Kevin Durant, and Gary Wright will be the heavy hitters and the heavy chargers here, putting a foothold on this track and on this pace. Will they be able to keep it though? We'll soon find out. Here we go, folks. Everyone now squared away and ready to get back down to their business here. A lot of hard racing still to come. Still hard moments to be pushed on down. About 26 laps remaining here on this restart. And they're not going to wait any time here. They're going to go down on the ends, down on the speed. Green flag flies high. Talk about trying to get a jump start on things immediately here. Now knowing how late we are into this race, John Lamaga knew if he did not get going sooner rather than later, could have been a long night for him, and that's sweet. Filed up right now. Mike Killenbeck though is 7 spots up here out of the field, moving the chains on in with 9 spots up for Kevin Durant, the hard charger of the night. The 7 is right behind that 70 Valvoline machine here as the pride of Ukraine here works his way around. And I don't know if you're wondering if who's the one that's pride with Ukraine, the 34 or that 7. Well, in this case I'm talking about the actual Rainbow Pride style on that 7 machine, the Ice Team with Ukraine style scheme up there. Lamar's definitely got a pretty unique, interesting looking scheme there as well. Kind of a camo back, some blue and yellow. Kind of represent the colors of course, the Ukrainian flag down there, the blue and yellow, symbolic of them and symbolic of their moments. But here in Talladega, Alabama, the symbolic track here, and then that high-end spear. Known as Talladega Superspeedway, still yet to disappoint. Hot on the lead foot, hot on the edges here. Drivers still getting any kind of speed and burst of run they can. Trying to find the exits, trying to find momentum, run off down to the back straightaway here. Look at Donnie Barker, a huge push coming from that 6. Wim and Wayne Dewey, both drivers, they're still searching for their first win of the season. Barker has has pulled off a win here on the show before. Wayne Dewey still without a win though. And Wayne sees the opportunity when he can. He's not going to hold back. He wants to strive for it. He gets Barefoot to come along with him, but Rob Lowell and Johnny Barker still drafting off one another, trying to help each other out, until Barefoot literally just jumps Barker off the run on the outside. And now Barker's left all alone up there. He's trying to get down. He's trying to get away. Ari, look at him move the chains right up to the offside, trying to make one last ditch effort there. Nice racing, maneuvering by both drivers involved. Everyone looking for their momentum. Shoehorning or straight shot, lining this thing around as much as you can is definitely going to help out your case quite a bit, I would say. And that's exactly what these guys are looking for. Incredible stuff here by the drivers of the No Name Racing League. Mike now looking to make a move off of one of these guys. Looks like he'll have to try to find his move off on the 90 of Gary right here. You saw him driving on the outside, then get right, literally swing shot it down the bottom as they floor it down off the corners, off the ends here. Here comes a big push and a boost here from the 70s. He locks the rear ends up. Now the Talladega draft trains now begin full charge and full show. It's amazing these kind of chugging and these kind of speeds you can bring to the table makes for racing wise, and especially when you got guys that are driving these brand new next gen cup cars time and time again here, trying to find any kind of momentum, any kind of runoff they can get. things starting to clip up yet again. You can see all that aerodynamic and that flow around the cars, around the track. It's starting to get very closer together, very on the nose of one another. Wayne Dewey now, Reed now, the two front runners up front. Johnny Barker getting a nice little push and a shove there. Trying to get help from the 21 of Rob Lowe. They're both all trying to make their move and all trying to find a line. Ellenbeck now lost his speed, lost his run, but he's not out of it just yet. He got David Lamaga now ready to kind of work with him. Now got to the outside yet again and make the move off from there, so doesn't quite have the same speed he had on his own. But you know what? I really don't think that even matters to him right now. The pack back there, I think they're just really trying to avoid and trying to stay away from any heartaches and hard troubles that may come their way here if they're not careful. They know what lies ahead of them and what's going to come closer to them. Lap traffic right up ahead of them as well, so now it's becoming a war of nutrition and control. Coming around town yet again here. Every single one of these drivers just trying to find some kind of extra little kick, extra kind of little runoff they can get for later on. Knowing that really this is really starting to boil down to a last ditch effort. Ooh, hold on. I guess maybe we might have to slow that down a little bit more. Got problems down here on the back end of the straight. And it looks like Johnny Barker, the 6, once again falls victim to the curse and the protest of Talladega. Talladega does not give an inch, and it does not give any care in the world to anybody. And I think Barker just found that out the hard way here. Let's take a look at the replay. There'll only be about 14 laps remaining here, and things could get very interesting here. Yeah, it looked like just, you can see these curved ends of these cars. These aren't exactly like COTs of the very start of them where they had the square bys and you can just push and shove them all you want. You can tandem draft. These are completely different. You have got to watch out for this overall circumstance of the curved corners, the curved ends of these cars. The edges and the turns and the edges and these actual cages and these body styles. They're very difficult to punch draft with. And they're very difficult to push draft off of. And you just got a good idea what happened there. Barker damaged up. He'll need to get that replaced ASAP if he wants to have any chance to win this race. David Lamaga right here, and now Reed can secure their legacies, their names here with a win in a victory lane here's trip. Al Reed, I guarantee you more than anything though, right now his main objective is to stay ahead of David Lamaga and possibly get some serious bonus points and a little bit of workarounds here as the field will get squared away yet again. We'll be right back. Just like that, we're back underway here. 13 laps left to go in this race. Time is running out for these drivers out here trying to find any kind of leg up and last ditch efforts and last ditch passes. They need every bit of help they can get, every kind of runoff they can find here. 70 Keeling back right now, going down the bottom lane. Well, 61 of Fonseca moving on the outside. The Singular 61, big a push, bit of a runoff here with that 64 as well. Neither driver backs off. Now they're still behind their race leaders, Al Reed and David Lamaga, with only 12 laps left to go on this one. Putting up some serious stakes, some serious momentum here, trying to find the better of the two. This has not been even the fate of heart. Of course, these drivers have been fighting and challenging everything they've scratched and clawed. Every time they throw these cars out here, trying to find something to really work well. This being a more wide open track as well, it definitely helps out for the long haul because it makes drivers have to kind of suffer through and kind of find and strategize a way to get to the outside or get to the middle end. Now look at this, while I'm trying to call the action there for a minute ago, actually Greg's race building some serious action on the runway here. He stuck through the middle, snuck to the cracks, and found himself an opening up into the race lead for the first time today. And Greg's race still without a victory, looking to try and seize the opportunity, seize the moment. Family watching on, tries to make a huge run down to the end, so you can see him just hammering it down, staying in position. Oh, but Fonseca said, no, sir, I know what you're up to. Pushes the momentum back into his favor now at the 61. With help from Rob Lowell and that 21, as well as the rest of this pack, the rest of this field. So much tenacity and stability and control. These drivers know they have so much on the line, really a lot on the mat, on the playing field here. And yet, out of all of it, nobody has given an inch here. No one has given out on this race. No one's wanted to give up on anything here. Watch out for that final 5 laps. I guarantee you, once we get to there, we'll be in trouble territory when it comes to literally seeing drivers crisscross applesaucing it all around this parts of town. Speaking of crisscross applesaucing here, watch out for that 8 Gene Cato. Where the heck did this Car City Guru guy come from? The Circus City, Chevrolet is moving like a thief in the night, sneaking up on anybody that dares trespass along his sights. He's looking for one last little leg up, one last position in as they have to go 3 wide, saluting back onto the back straight, onto the front straightaway here. We're closing laps down, left and right. We're down to the final 8. Now things really start to get heated up around here. Things start to really bolster and banish the momentum. They are still 3 wide, entering off the turns. David Lamaga trying to stay out of trouble, but you can see he is in a bad spot right now. He knows Al Reed is farther back of him. You won't have to worry about that for that position at the moment, but Reed now sees that happen. Might have a chance. Durant up near the wall, got clipped with Millenbeck, manages to hold it on down though. Nice save there, but how long will that end up lasting him? Not very long. Wrexham on turn number 4. Will they throw the caution? No caution yet. Killenbeck has wrecked the 70. He has destroyed it. He's trying to fire it off. Spins it on the front straightaway here. Still no caution. I think he's open and free. He can get this thing restructured. Oh, but he's not going to have really touch time to worry about now. There is a huge wreck ensuing here for the 71. John Lamaga, the second one he's been in a part of tonight. Oh, my goodness. And I think John just got himself stuck down there. What a huge wreck, unfortunately. What a bad break. That one just kind of covered on for these drivers. You can just see that run coming down, and it looked like the 71 went right down low on Rob Lowe. Actually, he got tagged by his own family member, David. Papa John, I don't think is going to be too happy about that one here, but again, he really couldn't do much about it. But how much can how much did son David take from that hit? I mean, it really at 21. I mean, what are you supposed to do in that mindset? Are you supposed to back off? No, you're not supposed to. Supposed to just go full throttle and center off and hope for the best. Unfortunately, it did not go well for John Lamaga there. Gene Cato, man, talk about a comeback story to say the least here. Might have a little Cinderella story up in the grabs. How much is left? We're pretty much going to be on a green-white checkered restart zone now. Territory is starting to brew up. And things could get very, very crazy here on these last bits. Can anyone survive this one out, much less survive around the track? Who knows, and we'll find out here in just a little bit. It's going to be a green-white checkered territory, though. When we get the cars squared away here, everyone is dialed back to just waiting for the lights to turn off. So now time has come, and we're ready to seize this one up. Restart zone back underway. We're back off it. Three laps remain. But who will it be? Seska just off the first set of corners alone had a lot of speed, a lot of build up and run there, trying to hold his line down. Dude, he's got to stay very focused here, stay very under control of himself. Cannot let this one get out of his reach and out of his sights here. He's got to stay on the rhythm and on the line. They will start to put the draft zone in again with only 2 laps to go. Single file them up. You know that will not last long though. Here they come down around once again here. 2 laps remain. Green light salute there just for a brief fleeting moment yet again. Things getting very crazy up in between Gillenbeck, Humphrey, and all them now trying to stay out of the way. Greg Drake's getting a huge little push off line 4. They're trying to shoot him up to the outside, get him away from the bottom, but he goes right back down on him. Maybe it's like a last-ditch effort for him and Drace to try to make something work here. Wayne Dewey and Fonseca still in the race lead. Al Reed, though, right up ahead. He's trying to get his maximum amount of points to stay ahead of David Lamaga. He might have a chance here if he can push it up to the race win. They'll fire him off one more time, iRace fans. This is your white flag lap coming down here off its turn to the front straightaway. Off the trial will turn, last minute chances, last minute opportunities seizing themselves up. Wayne Dewey, Greg Drace, and Keith Fonseca all trying to hold on just for one more time around. Drivers trying not to push and shove them too far right away in the trouble zone. Greg Drace, huge maneuver coming up, going the outside. Wayne Dewey goes up there trying to block it. Fonseca's left all alone up there. He goes to the top side. But to the top side there, Drace has got loose. He's loose. He's trying to hold it. He holds it. He held on. But the wreck right in front of him. And Fonseca gets away from it all. Fonseca escapes. He escapes the run. And to the finish line. He'll take this one home at Talladega. Oh my goodness. Keith Fonseca, the number 11 6 singular Chevrolet Camaro, literally single-handedly survives the carnage, survives the crazy town madness that followed with ensue. That's somehow, some way, he's gonna put the 61 into victory lane. Unreal. Held on to the line, held on to the charge, and knew that what was coming next could have been ugly, but Drace unfortunately cost himself big time there. Al Reed thought he might have had some there to keep ahead of the chances and keep ahead of the opportunities. He's only going to finish 4 spots up of David Lamaga. That'll definitely be a bit of a points get for him, but with only 4 races left, he needs all the help he can get. He's going to park it right in front of that flag man. He's going to thank him for this one as much as he's going to thank the fans. A lot of love to be shown, a lot of love down on the track side. Here is your final results now. Fonseca, Raposa, Cato, Wright, Killenbeck, Lamaga, John Lamaga that is, Johnny Barker, Rob Lowell, Greg Drace, and David Lamaga rounding out the top 10 in this one in an absolute shootout to the line and to the end. Well, ladies and gentlemen, joining me now in here from your second place spot here will be Eli Raposa here. And Eli, Really a very valiant effort on the last ditch effort charge there, but it looked like just too far ahead was Fonseca. Couldn't quite catch him there, could you?
Yeah, like you say, I was gaining on him quick. Uh, if that happens a little bit sooner, I think I'd blow right by him.
You say sooner, do you mean maybe about another turn, or do you think another straightaway would have done it?
Well, I think at the end, as quick as I was gaining on him, I don't know. I bet you by the, you know, even by the time we get to the next turn, I'm already past him.
That's definitely that's so we can believe, we can really see to it as well. But at the end of the day, man, still a very valiant effort and a very big race here for you and the crew. Tell me what it feels like just to get back into this top two, top half, and really put up a great fight to the end.
Yeah, well, if the race wasn't going good at first, I used both my fast repairs. Nothing intentional, just racing. But a good group of guys. We had a good race. The whole race, pretty much. It was competitive as far as people. A little bit of give and take. It wasn't too bad.
It was good, not too bad at all, and really ended up playing out to be your strong shoot and coming away here with a second place finish. So, Eli, as you come away with this today, here, my friend, who do you want to thank you for that one?
Well, first I want to thank my teammates from Dirtbag Racing, Dave Hartney, Wes Norman, and Mike. We work together a lot, with different tracks and different strategies and stuff like that. I know they weren't in the next gen class with me, but everything that we do really helps me out a lot. And I also want to thank Dirtbag Racing and Duffy, and you guys also, BTM, for putting on the race. I listen to the race while I'm racing, like lightly in the background, so I can hear everything that's going on. So I do enjoy your broadcast.
I definitely appreciate the support and all that coming to you here from Eli. Appreciate it, and congratulations on a second place finish. Well deserved, sir.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Eli Raposa comes away second place here today, but your race winner is going to put that singular 61 into victory lane for the first time, and really a long time we've seen this man put up a fight to the end. But Fonseca, you did just that and then some. An absolute shootout to the line as everybody wrecks behind you. What did the heck did you think when it was going on in your mind there, sir?
Uh, I knew something was going to happen, and I had Wayne behind me, pushing me and stuff. I was going to do what I had to do. Nobody was going to get past me today. It was good working. I was scared being down in the low line because the high line was faster all day long, and got down there, but yeah. I was a little worried and stuff, but I had a feeling something was going to happen. I didn't realize it was going to be everybody behind me.
Yeah, it was pretty much everybody except for a couple of them, Gene Cato and Eli Raposa. We just talked to Eli a minute ago, and he did say, he had a real big amount of speed coming your way to try to catch you, but wasn't quite enough there. It wasn't quite as much as, he wanted it, really timing-wise. But in your mind, do you think really that last wreck really was kind of what saved your race there to the line, or do you think it had been a lot closer and a lot more treacherous there at the end?
Nah, I was still going to win. I, nobody was gonna get past me. I was gonna make sure of it. Like when it comes to super speedways, I can race super speedways. I know how to race super speedways and stuff. So like, when I was out there, I was a little worried and stuff, and I seen Wayne trying to get a bit of a run. So I just moved up a little bit and just to try and kill that run a little bit, but. Yeah, nobody was gonna get past me today. Today was my day.
It was your day and it's your trip to victory lane. So, Francesca, congratulations on that. Who do you want to thank for this?
Man, I gotta thank the John Humphreys. Working with him all day and Marty Brown. Three of us out there and stuff. I want to thank Johnny Barker too. There was a period of time there that we got hooked up, and Eli. We're sitting there running around getting that high line to work and stuff, and Wayne there, giving me bumps and stuff. That them last couple of laps keeping me out there and stuff. I know he was setting something up for himself, but the whole back row team, give shout out to my wife who lets me do this all the time and not complain about it and stuff, and buys all this wonderful stuff for me and everything. You know, love her to death. But yeah, I think I might. And I want to give a big shout out to Lucas Gortman too. He's the reason why I'm getting better all the time, to helping me all the time and everything, and trying to get on to his level. So that's one to give a special shout out to him.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, though, as you walk away here with a victory, congratulations, Francesca. Great to see you put up the win on this end.
All right, thank you. Good run, Gene.
Ladies and gentlemen, your first place driver, the winner of it all here today at Talladega, Keith Francesca, as you just heard him say, and bring in a Gene Cato. Comes away third out of it all here, and Gene, congratulations on that. And this was a wild, wild race from the very last bit. But out of the gate, we really didn't see much of you. You were kind of hiding back there in that back end. Was that just planning out strategy, or did you really have something mechanically wrong with the car?
Well, it was kind of strategy at first, but then I got hooked up in that first caution there somehow or another and wound up a lap down, so I was just playing her safe from there until I could get back in contention.
You played back into contention, and then things started going more your way, and it looked like really the speed came from kind of using that draft package, using that runoff here from the end. And really, I'll ask you this, my friend. I mean, how were you able to just get this thing so squared up and were run off to get that speed at the end? That had to take a lot of charging, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Plus I had a little bit of damage, so that was a little bit harder to get
Sure
tucked
there.
up under good. But once I could get on a bumper, I could stay on it.
Stay on, you did indeed. And at the end of the day, man, even with these curved ends of these cars, that still held up pretty good on the bumper.
Yeah, it's not bad as long as you stay, squared up and hold your line good, and the person in front of you hold your line good, or behind you.
Absolutely. Well, nevertheless, though, as it all plays out for you to come away today with a solid position and finish, who do you want to thank you for this one, sir?
Well, I'd like to thank Rob Lowell, Johnny Barker, the Wolfpack gang, everybody involved in getting this continuous going. Just want to appreciate it.
For sure there. All right. Well, nevertheless, Gene, as we sign this one off today, congratulations on this race win, sir. And nothing but the best of luck to you guys. We got 3 more races coming your way.
All right, let's do it. Thank you.
Gene Cato, ladies and gentlemen, your third place finisher here today to round out our day in our race here for the No Name Racing League. But thanks, fans. Thanks so much for tuning on in. We'll catch you guys here in a little while. The action does not kick off and end just yet. 1 more hour, and we'll be back with you guys with Pedal Metal to finish off our night. Thank you so much for tuning in.